Hey everyone, I'm Jesse from Janjo. So I got 5 monsters I want to see toonified. What are they? Let's find out.
Duel sauce, extra sauce. Hit that subscribe.
So I've always loved the Toon cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! They're wacky, disturbed looking versions of monsters that already exist. And it's fun, it's kind of cute, and it's really cool because Pegasus, the first villain of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel monsters, had Toon monsters, and we still get support now and again. We got cards like Toon Blue Eyes, Toon Gemini Elf, and more recently in the Toon Chaos set, we got a whole slew of Toon monsters like Toon Blackluster Soldier and other support cards like Toon Terror and Toon Bookmark. So I figured I want to talk about 5 more monster cards I want to see get Toon versions because I think these would be really cool, and I have created effects for them, and I think they're going to be really awesome. And if there's any you don't see on this list, let me know which ones you would like to see down below. So let's get started. Wait, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, because that helps me upload more videos and know that you like content like this. So the first one today is going to be Toon Gaia the Fierce Knight. We have a lot of Toon cards for Yugi's monsters. We got Toon Dark Magician Girl, Summon Skull, cards like that. And I feel like one of Yugi's big monsters from the Duel Monsters era was Gaia the Fierce Knight. He uses this in a lot of duels, from Weevil to Panic. Gaia is an iconic Yugi card, but I want to give Gaia the effect of a charging guy. I don't want him to just be a plain 2300 beater. I want to give him the effect where you can normal summon this Toon monster. Let's say if you have Toon World on the field, you can use this effect where you can normal summon without tributing, where he has 1900 attack. But I want to go a little bit further beyond that, and I also want to give him the effect of Spiral Spear Strike, where he can inflict piercing damage, because I feel like this would give you a nice sort of idea of to attack your opponent's monsters and not just attack directly all the time. At least this way you can inflict piercing damage as a little extra effect, as a little boost aside from that Toon monster thing, which Toon monsters kind of have a crutch already, so I want to give them a decent boost. I feel like adding piercing damage isn't that hard, because I don't think there's any other piercing damage. I don't think there's any piercing damage to monsters, so I think adding 1 isn't too bad. So the next one, number 4, I want to talk about is, Dark Magician of Chaos, or the Dark Magician of Toon Chaos. Yeah, we're playing off of the Toon Chaos pack, and we already had in Toon Chaos the Toon Blackluster Soldier, so it only makes sense to go on the other side of the coin and go with the Dark Magician of Chaos. Another Dark Magician monster, another Toon monster. It works, it just works. So again, we're going to give it the same stats and pretty much the same effects, where during the end phase you can add 1 graveyard you can add 1 spell from your graveyard to your hand. And I think this is a very powerful effect for Toons, because they have some really powerful spell cards really in the entire game. They got great search cards like Toon Table of Contents, they got Comic Hand, they got any other great Toon spell card you can think of, Shine Palace, I don't know, you can add whatever you want. It doesn't have to be Toon cards, it could be specifically Toon cards. In that regard, you couldn't bring back a Comic Hand. I think still it would be very powerful, even just for that Toon Table of Contents, because you got that search card for the next turn. And of course, he will banish when he leaves the field, but he'll also banish monsters he destroys. So it's a good way to still get rid of monsters, and a good way to recur spell cards. I think is a great way, even for like a Toon Kingdom, bringing that back to your hand, that would be great. Having more options than just 3 cards, there's just so much you could do with it, and I think this would be a great addition to a Toon deck for sure. Alright, so the next card I got is Thousand Eyes Restrict. Now, when I first came up with this list, I was thinking of Relinquished, and then I was trying to work around an effect for it, or a way to maybe not have it be a ritual monster, but then I just kept winding up with basically Relinquished Anima, and I finally settled on actually using Pegasus' main finale monster, the Thousand Eyes Restrict. So for what I want to call Toon Eyes Restrict, because it'd be really silly with eyes protruding out of it in the Toon way, is that I want to keep it a fusion monster, but we're going to only use 2 generic Toon monsters for its fusion material. And the effects I'm giving it is that same thing as Thousand Eyes Restrict, where it can suck up a monster, monsters can't change their battle positions on the field or attack, and monsters equipped by it will be destroyed. But the one change I'm making is that it's not all monsters can't attack, it's all monsters except for Toon monsters. This is a really great ability because it will allow your Toon monsters the freedom to kind of go over its effect and attack your opponent while your opponent can't attack whatsoever. So you're not just locked into this one monster. It's a great upgrade from it, and it only works with Toon monsters, so it's not broken. It's not like you can just throw an instant fusion in every deck and then just, you know, use that. I mean, I guess you could have another target for instant fusion, but you're gonna use Millennium Eyes Restrict anyway. So yeah, Toon Eyes Restrict, I think it would be great for a fusion monster. You'll probably have to run polymerization unless I end up doing a Toon spell card video in which there'd probably be some sort of Toon fusion, Toon polymerization card, but that's for another video. Maybe we'll probably get to that. So the next one I want to talk about is Gate Guardian. Yeah, the Gate Guardian. Gate Guardian. Yeah. One of the biggest monsters of the Duel Monsters era. I wanted to stick with Duel Monsters era, the Duel's Kingdom stuff, because that was really Toon monsters. It was Pegasus. So Gate Guardian was one of the biggest boss monsters of that. I wasn't really feeling a Harpy's pet Toon Dragon or a Toon Moth or anything like that. We've already got Barrel Dragon, so I think the biggest card you could think of, especially on Pegasus' side, was Gate Guardian, because the only other one possibly would be a Toon Castle of Dark Illusions. I think that'd be kind of neat. But I definitely wanted to settle with Gate Guardian. Gate Guardian is an awful card. He looks cool. He's very nostalgic. But he is very awful in terms of getting him out. Lack of really any effect. And yeah. So I wanted to give him a bunch of effects in this one. I want this to be the boss monster for Toons. Now, obviously there's a lot of good Toon cards with high stats and good effects. But this one is probably going to have the highest attack out of the ones I could possibly imagine. So I'm going to keep the same stats, but his effect is that instead of special summoning by tributing Sangha, Kazijin, and Suijin, you're just going to have to tribute 3 generic Toon monsters on the field. So you can have anyone you want. It's not too hard to get out. Plenty of them special summon themselves, and it would be a bit easier to get out Toon Gate Guardian this way. So I want to incorporate a lot of his anime effects into this. So his first effect is that the first 2 times it will be destroyed by battle, it is not. This is playing off in the anime where Yugi had to destroy each piece of the Gate Guardian to destroy it. So once you destroy the Suijin, Kazujin, once you destroy Sangha, then it's all gone and kaput. So this gives it 2 battle protections aside from the Toon Kingdom on the field, which would give it even more protection, which would just be insane. And then when this card leaves the field, you can special summon 1 Toon monster from the graveyard. This effect comes from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX in the Dark Guardian, the Paradox's shadow version of the Gate Guardian, where when Gate Guardian was destroyed, they had a spell card that would bring up an even bigger monster. But I didn't want to do a Dark Toon Gate Guardian, I just wanted to have some sort of floating effect. And if you're tributing 3 monsters to the graveyard to summon him, essentially you can get 1 back for a little bit of protection. And his third effect, you may not like, but I feel like it was kind of needed to balance the card, because I want to make these at least somewhat realistic as possible, in that during your standby phase, the card loses 1,000 attack. Now, I definitely feel like this card needed some sort of drawback, especially that if it protects itself at least twice by battle inherently. So even if you don't have a Toon Kingdom on the field, it can still at least protect itself. And with 3750 attack, if it's losing 1,000 attack per standby phase, you get at least 1 turn with its max attack. A second turn with 2750, which is still high. And then third turn with 1750, and then the 4th turn would be only 750. So I don't see this thing surviving 4 turns, or hopefully you can win the game within that time. But even by 1750, it's not too low. I mean, it still has that floating effect, so even if it's weaker, it still has a benefit of doing so. And this is only for the attack, so you can still leave it in defense mode after, let's say, 2 turns. So you still get a lot of attack from it, but it is a downside. I feel like you kind of need a card like this, and I want to be good at making my cards, not just making every card as broken as possible, because while that would be easy to do, it wouldn't be that challenging. So Toon Gate Guardian, I've talked way more than I thought I would about it, but it's definitely something I want to see eventually. Alright, so the last card I want to talk about is, now I know I brought a picture of Twin Burst Dragon, and there's one thought I did have of a Toon Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, or Blue Eyes Ultimate Toon Dragon. I could definitely see that, but this one is going to be more abstract. See, I want to create a card that is called Red Eyes and Blue Eyes Toon Burst Dragon. I've always wanted to see the Blue Eyes and Red Eyes archetype sort of mesh together, and I think something like this would be really fun, where you have a 2-headed dragon, where one head's Blue Eyes, one head's Red Eyes, and they're kind of fighting each other, kind of like the 2 heads of King Ghidorah, when the middle one's like, hey guys, you gotta stop this is kind of silly. And it's also playing off of the 1998 Card-Ass game, where they had a card that was Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, and Meteor Black Dragon. Now, I didn't want to add Meteor Black Dragon, but I always like that concept of 2 monsters in 1. I think 2 monsters could really make that work, because they're both already connected with the Toon monster archetype, and it would be a way to make you want to include a Blue Eyes Toon in your deck. So this card, its attack would be less than Twin Burst, it would be less than Blue Eyes, but I want to give it 2700 attack and 2300 defense. This is the middle ground of a Blue Eyes and Red Eyes, so instead of making it way super duper powerful or just a Blue Eyes level, I want to keep in mind both monsters in this fusion. So it's going to be the same effects, where you can either fusion summon with both of those monsters, or you can send the monsters you control to the graveyard to special summon it. So it has that contact fusion, so that's pretty good. Cannot be destroyed by battle, and it can make up to 2 attacks during the battle phase, which is great, because you can attack an opponent's monster, and then you can attack directly, or you can attack directly twice, and that's a lot of damage. You know, 2700, you're looking at high damage for a Toon monster. That is over 5,000 life points, which is absurd. This is definitely another boss monster of the deck you probably want to watch out. But again, you do have to run a lot of high-level monsters in this deck, things like the Demok or Gate Guardian, so it can be equally bricky at the same time. And also, this card, at the end of the damage step, when it attacks an opponent's monster, but they're not destroyed by battle, you can banish that monster. So it still has really great effects. It's a little bit weaker than Twin Burst, but really not by that much. Between Toon Burst and Toon Eyes, they're great fusion targets for it, because if you can get both of them out, where your opponent can't attack and they can't switch battle positions, and you have this other monster that can attack twice through that directly. Now, we could make its effect where it cannot attack directly, but that's kind of a Toon monster thing, you know. I don't want to get rid of that, and I want to keep that double attacking Twin Burst effect. So yeah, it's a scary card. I don't see any other downsides I'd want to add on it like I did with Gate Guardian, but I think just the concept of the monster would be just nuts, and I would love to see something like that. So let me know what you think about my list. Again, I got Toon Gaia the Fierce Knight, Dark Magician of Toon Chaos, Toon Eyes Restrict, Toon Gate Guardian, and Red Eyes and Blue Eyes Toon Burst Dragon. So yeah, let me know what you think about my list. Is there other cards you'd like to see? Do you think these cards would be pretty sick in the meta? Do you think they would improve the deck that much? Do you think you would completely change the Toon deck? Definitely let me know about this. I'm excited to do this because I love Toons. It's one of my favorite archetypes in the game. And yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comments below, on my Twitter at Janjo Brand, and check out my great stuff like my merch and my Patreon, in which, if you support me, monthly you can decide a discussion for the channel, and that's pretty dope. So, of course, until then, have a wonderful day.